Hello, guys! It's another Saturday evening. My name is Chubster, and welcome to Let's Talk Magic. So, how are you guys doing? It is 10 p.m. here in Manila. In Australia, it is actually 12 midnight. Well, and of course, in the rest of the country, in London, it's 3 p.m. Well, guys, again, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Chubster. Before we start our program proper, please don't forget to, of course, like our official Facebook page, Chubster Flores Productions, and of course, like our YouTube channel, Chubster Flores Productions. Now, hold on. Once again, don't forget to like our official Facebook page, Chubster Flores Productions, like and subscribe, and of course, all of our broadcasts. You can watch all our past broadcasts on our official YouTube channel, Chubster Flores Production. So, guys, again, also, since you're on YouTube already, don't forget to subscribe on my channel. Come on. Thank you very much. By the way, guys, well, it's another Saturday evening, and well, what's been happening around the world now? Well, it's still pandemic. In the Philippines, we our lockdown status was somehow lifted to a much easier level. I don't know how to say it, but still, there's curfew. We're not allowed to go out 8 p.m. till 4 in the morning. But anyway, it's not all about pandemic that I'm talking about. It's all about magic. First of all, I would like to greet our viewers as early as now. We have Mr. Alan Soriano, the president of the Magicians Foundation Incorporated, who is watching. Mr. Mauski Derla, thank you very much for watching. Mr. Robert Laru, Mayap and Bengi po. Yes, Mayap and Bengi, good evening, sir. And thank you very much for always watching. Zaldi, and wait, we have Mr. Arturo Tivoli. Hi, sir. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure also to have you here. Yes, well, you know what? Let me just, yeah, there you go. Hi, oh, yes. Again, thank you very much, sir, for joining. Of course, yeah, later on, we're going to go talk about this one, the Academy of Illusions, only here at Now Talk Magic. Seth, thank you very much. Magandang gabi. And of course, Frank Tuglas, thank you very much for watching all the way from good old USA. Frank, my friend, thank you very much. I hope you are doing well. And again, I hope you're going to go watch till the end of the episode, because later on, I might be raffling up something. Well, the thing is, it's only for the local viewers because I can't afford to mail overseas. There's no sponsors. I'm just joking. Okay, you know what? Before we continue, before we go on with our program, I would like to present our upcoming, upcoming events from some of our magical friends or magic clubs around the Philippines. Let me just wear my binoculars for this one. First up, I would like to, hold on. Oh, why? Spike is from Montana, Big Sky County. Hi, Spike, later on. Okay, hold on. Okay. Wait. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, here we go. Again, from our friends from the Magicians Foundation Incorporated, they will be having, well, an upcoming magic convention sometime in November. So it's called, here we go. It's MagFeast Annual Online Magic Convention. This will be happening on November 8 to 10 at 2021 at 3 p.m. Manila time. And this will be live via Zoom. And of course, what's going to be happening during the 3-day event? Well, of course, there will be lectures, there'll be competitions. And speaking of lectures, I'm going to go show you our featured lecturer for this program. We have, of course, Master Dem. We have Ju Yong Lee of JL Magic in Korea. Don't mind this guy wearing the hat. Ron Mariano is also lecturing. Audition to the Domingo. And of course, the laser man of Philippine Magic, JB De La Cruz. Now, from what I was told by the president of MagFi, these are still, the lineup can still change, but for sure, they'll be adding up more lecturers as we go along the way. So once again, this will be on November 8 to 10. The lecture fee or the registration fee is only 1,000 pesos for all those 3 days. So guys, mga Filipino friends, if you guys are watching, come on, you have to register now. Please contact Alan Soriano, the MagFi president, or RJ Clemente. The numbers are written down below. And of course, aside from lectures and competitions, they'll be having magic dealers. Yeah, we have DV Magic Shop, JL Magic Korea, Runit Decks, Magnifico Crafts, and of course, members of the Magicians Foundation Incorporated. So it's not only it's a lecture, it's a competition. There will be magic shows. There's a dealer booth. Well, a virtual dealer booth. I don't know how they're gonna go do it now. I don't know how, but maybe each dealer will be having their own Zoom window, I think. Okay, and aside from that, that's MadFeed, Magicians Foundation Incorporated. That is IBM Ring 322. As for my next club, it's called the Inner Magic Club or IBM Ring 328. Well, they are now accepting online membership. Okay, so they are now opening their doors. Inner Magic Club is a member of FISM and IBM Ring 322 at 328, and of course, they are a member of the Asian Magicians or Magic Associations. For more info on how to become a member of this prestigious club, you can contact James Cuevas at the numbers written down there. And by the way, from what I was told, you need to have 2 sponsors who will be vouching for you. Okay, so well, actually, some guys already contacted me and asked me to be one of the sponsors, and I said no. Yeah, I said yes, of course, and hopefully, of course, they'll be taking the exam as well. Let me see. Oh, Nico Agua say thank you very much, guys. Please don't forget to share the stream and of course like our official Facebook page, Chubster Flores Productions. By the way, my guest later on, who I'll be introducing to you is Mr. J. Scott Berry. He is broadcasting all the way from Australia. And if you have any questions that you want to ask GSB, just feel free to type it in at the comment box and I'll be happy to read it for him, to him that is. And just type in away your comments or your questions or whatsoever. Okay? My good friend Wanlu will be having a show. Well, actually, it's an online show as well on Facebook. It is called The Puppet Stories with Nicholas. You can see the puppet is the host of the program. And for this episode on Monday, the 23rd of August, his guest will be Shane Celoria, world champion ventriloquist. So that will be on Monday, 23rd of August, 5:30 p.m. Don't forget, the new channel is for you, is where you can watch the broadcast. Thank you very, very much. Okay. First up, I would like to thank the following guys for presenting Let's Talk Magic. First of all, I would like to thank Philippine Magic Scene. Actually, they have their Facebook page. It's called Philippine Magic Scene. For the latest news and updates on Philippine Magic, please go to their Facebook page, Philippine Magic Scene, and don't forget to like the page as well. Of course, my good friends, Lasco, for your home automation security. Lasco is the name to go. You can go check out Lasco products on Shopee and Lazada pages. So please check it out, Lasco Electronics. Yan. And for the best mommy shop combo in the whole of Metro Manila, none other than Mamun Look Restaurant. Of course, they are now available via your favorite delivery app. Check out the Mamun Look Facebook page for more details. And of course, DV Magic Shop, serving the needs of Filipino magicians and hobbies. You can visit their store in Pureza or check out as well their Lazada and Facebook pages. Oh, by the way, I stand corrected. Lasco is only available on Lazada. Okay. Wait. Did I forget something? Let me just do the counting, okay? Philippine Magic Scene, Lasco, Mamulok Restaurant. I think I'm missing one, but anyway, I'm gonna go show it to you, the video. Here we go. Once again, Philippine Magic Scene for the latest updates on Philippine Magic. Lasco Home Security and Automation. We make high-quality automation affordable for every Filipino. Please visit their Lazada page, Lasco Home Security and Automation. I thought I forgot one of the sponsors or presenters over here. Again, for the best mommy shop of Common Hall of Metro Manila, Mamulok Restaurant, Sir George. Thank you very much. Again, they're available via your favorite delivery app. I'm getting tongue-tied right now. Sorry about that, guys. And, the Prestidigitators, the movers of Philippine Magic. You can visit their Facebook page, the Prestidigitators, or Website www.theprestidigitators.com, the movers of Philippine Magic, One World Alliance. And of course, DV Magic Shop. 463 Unit C, Flores Extension. Call first and we'll make an appointment before visiting. But you can check out their Lazada and Shopee pages. Once again, thank you very much. My good friend watching all the way from UK, Darren Lee. Darren, thank you very much. I know it's roughly around past 3 over there. So thank you very much for joining in all the way from UK. Okay, enough with that. It's time for me to introduce my special guest for tonight. Well, first of all, I'm very happy and very honored, and I'm very thankful that he agreed to do this lecture. How come you always say lecture? That he agreed to do this interview, and it's a great honor for me to have him as one of my guests. So, ladies and gentlemen, he was in Manila twice already. So put your hands together, none other than the main man himself. For me, he is known as JSB or Jay, but please welcome Mr. J. Scott Berry. Here we go, Jay.
Hey, Chubster,
Welcome to
great
Let's Talk
to
Magic.
see you. Welcome, everyone, from the virtual studio here in somewhere in the wilds of Australia.
Somewhere in the wilds. Okay,
It's
wow.
my pleasure to be here. Great to see you, my friend. That's the main thing. You know, you're alive, you're healthy, you're smiling. It's like shine so bright that even the doubters are dazzled.
What do you mean shine so bright?
Well, yeah. Well, I was saying you did a little powder on that.
Well, I get it all the time, man. But anyway, welcome back to Manila virtually. So you've been to Manila twice already, and okay, what do you miss about Manila? If there's something that you miss about Manila?
The people, obviously. I had such a great time. Both times, welcomed like an absolute, just a complete comrade in magic, with you, with George, with Raimundo, with the entire magic clubs. He took me around. We had just an absolutely fantastic time. I cannot wait to come back in person, but this is at least a good consolation to see you virtually.
Yes, and I thank you very much again for doing this interview. By the way, I'd like to show the guys watching a photo of the first visit of yours. I think the event is called the Magical Gathering. It's a gathering of two magic clubs. It's MagFi and the IMC. So I'd just like to show them the photo. There you go. So this was the first visit of JSB in Manila. So as you can see, I'm still big during that time. And of course, the second visit was by the way, the first visit you performed, and of course you did a mini lecture. Then second time around in Manila, it was a full lecture already. So I'd like just to show them some of photos. By the way, your event is called the second gathering. So it's a lecture between you and Mr. Rani Raimundo. And here are some of the photos that I want to share the viewers in case you missed that one. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm gonna go base it on this one, this was 2010. So do you still remember the date of your first visit? Was it
2004?
Oh, so that was 6 years ago, huh? Wow.
Yeah. 15 years ago, and then 10, 11 years ago. So it's been a while.
So, and this was the photo. Now, since it's a full-blown lecture, so those are the guys.
See, what a great group. I was just so surprised that such an avid group of magicians you had. The first time you come, you think, oh, no, maybe 10 magicians. They're like 60 magicians are there, and they're all happy, and, the entire experience was such a joy.
Seth Apita said, I was there. So, Seth, what was? You were there during the first lecture or during the second one? And, well, according to Arturo Tivoli, JSB is still young. Yes, look at us. We're both young. Well, actually, only him.
It's
only
a state of mind. Magic it's youth and magic. They go together.
Okay. Anyway, okay. Let's go to the interview now. First of all, let's talk about the main reason why you're here. It's magical. It's the Academy of Illusions. But first of all, how are you adjusting to the new called new normal? I mean, of course, you're having virtual shows, right, and virtual lectures.
Yeah, I think like most magicians, I got caught by a bit of a surprise 18 months ago where, it was like magic. My entire calendar of shows evaporated like simsalabim and my they were all gone. So it took me a while to, a few weeks to sort of adapt and to realize that the best course of action was to turn crisis into opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
there were many things on my to-do list that I kept saying, well, when I get the chance, I'm going to create a catalog of my effects and do a bunch of digital downloads. And so I was like, well, now was the time to do it. So over the last year, I set up the virtual studio. I did a number of a series of webcasting, The Art of Wonder. And along with
Mm-hmm.
that, there was 55 individual digital downloads that got produced that otherwise I probably would not have done because I was busy performing. So
Yes.
that was the real nice balance. And then we opened up a little bit, got a little bit of a peak opening in October to go back and do some shows. And then things really opened up earlier this year. But my instinct was that it was, I had to be ready. So that's where I reinvested a lot of time and energy into multicam 1080p state of the art webcasting studio, and very actively got involved with teaching and mentoring and doing things that weren't possible otherwise. But because if I'm out actively performing, that's the primary focus. But so I took on a number of students from around the world. I've been mentoring and developing and coaching, and that's simply become part of, as you say, the new reality we're dealing with. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's trying to capture the best of both. So we went into lockdown about 5 weeks ago here. Again, all the shows disappeared, but this
Yeah.
time I was a little more prepared. In fact, what I've done up all this year is I've put simple, every live show I booked, I said, if it goes off, if for some reason we lock down, you get the virtual show. So simply putting the two right together from the get-go. And that seemed to work reasonably well. People understood. They said, oh, okay. So, and I said, so you're covered either way. It's that
Mm-hmm.
great line from a insurance salesman. So either way, we've got you covered. And, it's rolling through the challenges. Survival of the fittest isn't necessarily the strongest or fastest. It's about being the smartest and being able to adapt to change.
By the way, before I go to Seth Hapita's question, I would like to just thank Arturo Tivoli for saying that I'm also young. Thank you, sir. Okay. According to Seth Hapita, he was there during the second gathering, and that was the first time he learned about the Sanada.
Mhm.
Maybe the one that you're, but here's a question from coming from Seth. Did you find it hard to switch from live shows to virtual shows?
It definitely took a series. I mean, I've done television before, so I mean, I'm familiar with performing to the camera. I've done a lot of TV shows, but what's about the virtual shows? It gives us this unique opportunity to basically produce our own television show.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first ones, I basically had my mobile phone on a tripod, and that was it. That was no bells, no whistles. It was me doing a single straight up. And then I got actively involved with OBS, and then added
Yeah.
multiple cameras. I set up a full, right next door, I've got a full floor to ceiling green screen so I can move
Wow.
back and forth. Within just seconds, I can be in a full green screen, proper green screen backdrop. And of course, lights, microphone, sound. So a lot of what I did this year is when the shows were happening, I reinvested some of the returns back into setting up the studio. So the lecture I started doing real actively, the Art of Wonder magic lecture for clubs around the world, basically starting in April and May. And that, again, multi-camera, 1080p, we're able to record it, give the clubs copies, again, doing things that only the technology allows, which, a few years ago, we wouldn't have even considered that was a possibility. So
Mm-hmm.
again, making the best of a bad situation. The best thing I ever learned is to never stop learning.
That's a good one. Never stop learning, of course.
Never
With
stop
every
learning.
day is a
I'm
learning
constant.
process.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, what got you started into magic? I mean, how old are you? Or how old were you when you found interest in magic? I mean, since you were a
Yeah.
kid or what?
Uh,
And
Look,
what got you
that's
started into
obviously a
magic?
very classic question. And like many sort of the top pros of the day, I started with a magic kit. It was a very simple, silly, simple magic kit when I was 5 years old.
Hmm.
And I dove on it with all the bravado of youth and excitement. I learned the tricks and immediately went back to the the daycare center that I had graduated from the year before. So I was the alumni coming back and saying, I'll do my magic show. So I did my first, literally my first show when I was 5 years old. But I was also involved with dance and singing and music and theater. And that's where it all, as I was just going up through school and high school, all of those came together.
Okay.
So that created really the foundation for my professional career and 40 years of touring the world.
And uh, who were your magical influences then when you were starting out? I mean, you I mean, who were your how should I say this? Who do you look up to during that time when it comes to performing magic?
Again, good question. I remember we watched the Ed Sullivan Show. That again, that
Mm.
was back in my day. There was only 3 channels, and there was only one show. Everyone watched it. We all sat around the television and watched the Ed Sullivan. So I remember seeing Channing Pollock and Fantasio and so many of the others, and just marveling. It's just like, how is that possible? And then into the 1970s was real key. Now, this isn't just for me, but this is for so many of the magicians of my generation. A television series came on called The Wonderful World of Magic, hosted by
Yes,
Bill
Bill
Bixby.
Bixby.
And it was actually shot. Bill Bixby was in Irma's room at the Magic Castle, which I didn't realize till a few years later. But what they were
Mm.
showing were FISM tapes, the tapes of the top FISM winners from like the last 2 or 3 FISMs. So we just got an immersion. I say we, because all the magicians who like came up through that time, we watched this religiously. And we got an immersion to see the best in the world. These were the best of the best. We're right across the way from Richard Ross to Shimada to Fred Capps to Pavel.
Norm
Just
Nielsen.
everyone who was anyone we got to see. And that set the benchmark. For me, it was very clear that I looked at that and I said, man, if I'm going to play in that league, that's how good I have to be. So, and everyone, when I became a junior member of the Magic Castle, it was a very similar theme. Well, we recognized the ones who now, Kevin James, Mark Kalin, and so many of the other top pros, we had that same experience. It was no accident. We recognized that the bar had been set very high, and we had to meet it and match it, and ultimately, do our best to go beyond it.
Yeah, okay. A question here coming from Mr. Frank Tugas.
Mhm.
If you're gonna go have a magic kit again, or are you gonna go collect it or not?
Well, that's funny. This was for the ones I think it's probably mainly in America. It was this small little magic kit that was put out by Chex Cereal. And it was like,
Mm,
I don't know, my mom sent in 3 box tops and 50 cents. I mean, it was some ridiculously silly amount. And much later, just actually about 5, 10 years ago, she found one on eBay and bought it for
okay.
me as for my birthday and said, do you remember this? So the original pieces were long lost. Who knows in my, toy room of childhood. But I actually have the full intact magic kit that copies of all the props and the coin slide and the little plastic brown and a lot of it was Adams. Again, later to find out these were stuff that Adams produced, and of course they gathered these. But the little snapper and all these cool things that still are part of magic kits. The real fundamental learnings pieces, toys to get into the art of wonder.
Well, speaking of magic kits, and you mentioned Adams, actually, that was the first magic kit that was given to me by my auntie in the US. So I remember SS Adams, Neptune, New Jersey. Then
That's right.
it's got a linking ring. It's got a milk pitcher. It's got a lot of bowl. It's got. I mean, it's a good set, and that's where I started at. So when you mentioned uh,
The little
Adams, so
egg cup with the white ball. The little, I remember I had the blue, I think it was blue with the little, and you take it out, put it in your pocket, it reappears. Oh, now it's back in the pocket. Just the little egg cup effect, or
I think yeah,
ball and
something
base.
like
I
that.
think they call it ball and base. All these.
Yeah, yeah, ball and vase. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I have such great memories of performing. Yeah, I did a number of shows as 5, 6-year-old kid using that kit as the basis. And then when I got basically in early teens, that's when I got serious. I mean, I started reading the books, and I had to go to the library because, back in my day, that's how we learned. Uh, and then I did a tour with my father, vacation, went through Boston, went into my very first magic shop. And that was like, finding the Holy Grail, walking into the magic
mhm,
store and uh, buying a few tricks and then performing them in the lobby of the hotel. And that really kicked it off, was the ability to find that happy space of performing and realizing that, that it was fun, that just simply fun to stand up. And I got brought down to the nightclub as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid. The owner of the nightclub thought it was really funny that, the small kids doing magic. But that set it all off. And then 5 years later, while living in Reno, Johnny Thompson,
mhm.
aka the great Tom
Tom
Sony,
Sony.
was performing. And that was the absolute watershed moment of my entire career, because I made the effort, called him backstage. He invited me down, got me up to see the show, and just completely took me on as a mentor. Just
Mhm,
really, I mean, started from the very get go saying, "Tell me about your act, tell me what you're doing," and very gracious. I mean, I look back time and again on that very pivotal moment, and I thought, boy, if he hadn't been that way, if he had turned me away at that time and said, I don't want to bother with you, kid," I wouldn't be here. 100% certain, because he said, "Look, if you want to pursue this, you've got to go down to Hollywood. You've got to go to the Magic Castle." He told me about the junior member group, all of which basically he created a roadmap which I was following. And then we were friends up until the day he passed,
mhm.
always visiting, always connecting. And it was nice to have, ultimately, when I became an adult and professional, I was able to return the favor and help him and Pam out as well. So that's always a nice space in my heart to see how it was nurtured beyond simply mentor student into friend, companion, colleague.
Anyway, thank you very much, Jay. Guys, you are watching Let's Talk Magic. It is episode number 27. My guest for tonight is Mr. Jay Scott-Berry. He's broadcasting all the way from Australia.
Australia, way
Yes,
down
and
under, mate.
yeah,
Crikey,
the down under
crikey.
might. And again, I'm very thankful that you agreed to do this interview. Okay, I have a question here coming from Mr. Robert LaRue. Let me just put it on the screen. There you go. Years ago, I read a fabulous book of yours that was filled with hand-drawn illustrations and maybe even hand letterings, as I recall. Did it ever get reprinted? Would you happen to remember
This
the
is
title of that one?
yes, Robert. Thank you. Now, again, all these key points one can look back. I find like the connecting the dots of my career. Another one that, had this certain things not happened, it would have changed the trajectory. So after the FISM, basically, I competed in the 1982 FISM and took the silver medal. So medaled in the FISM, but then was brought back and hired to be one of the headliners in the 1985 FISM in Madrid. So that was obviously a real high point in 1985. Big, the three main headliners were the Pendragons, Jeff McBride, Vito Lupo was on as well, and of course myself. So it was this major heavyweights coming in. But right after that, I sort of had time open. So I went to FISM. I had done the TV shows in Vienna, which were taped and then broadcast across Europe. But I had time. I thought, well, I'm going to go spend some time in France. And I picked up an apartment for a few weeks and just spent some time in Paris. And I got to meet Georges Prost, who
Mhm.
actually I had met him a few years earlier, but I went in and really connected with him, Georges Prost at the Académie de Magie. And one of the first things he said was, well, can we do a book? And he had just printed the Fin John, the first of the European Stars of Magic. It's a full size, nice book, very nice booklet, soft cover, but very well done, as Robert said. And the key to the book was James Hodge. James Hodge was just this genius illustrator, a true artist. It wasn't just draw the hands. He just extraordinary. I mean, amazing guy, really talented magician. He did a brilliant black art act, but his talent as a illustrator made that book. I mean, I brought in my things and we did the ring and ribbon and I showed a bunch of real things, effects that had already become signature pieces. So it was the first opportunity to put those in print. And it became the second of the European Stars of Magic book, printed in French as well as English. And
Mm.
that became that set off my first lecture tour. Everything sort of connected. Again, it's easy to look back and go, wow, if I would have taken that one dot out of my story, it wouldn't, everything would have changed. Because from there, I did a series of lectures and then went to Scotland and to Ireland and met my friend Scott Cuthbertson, who are still friends and colleagues. And that built the momentum. So I established myself not only as a performer, but as a
Mm.
teacher. And that was real key to even what I'm doing now, because it's balancing not only performing and presenting, but passing it on and teaching others. And that leads, of course, to the mentoring that I'm doing now.
I see. Okay. My next question is,
Oh, and I'm sorry, one more thing. I will
yeah.
answer final question because, yeah, I don't believe it was ever reprinted. To the best of my knowledge, Georges Prost is still alive. The Académie of Magic, Académie de Magie in Paris is one of the most amazing magic stores ever. It's a museum, but I have no knowledge that the book was ever printed. So it was 600 copies of each, and if you can get a copy, I only have one. It's definitely a collector's item. So
Wow. Okay. My next question is, what will your job be today if you're not a magician?
that's a very good question. Okay,
Well,
now this
well,
is
I know
perfect
you're
because
into music, but again, if you're not a
yeah,
magician and you're not a musician,
my loves growing up were all based around theater. I mean, from
oh,
the first time I got on stage, my mother put me into tap dance classes when I was 3 years old. And it was a discipline. On one hand, we had to learn, but then I remember vividly there's going to be a recital at the end of the year. So here's little Jay Scott getting all excited, and the photos. And it was the countdown I vividly remember, and taking the photos and the rehearsal and then performing. And I'm thinking, I'm singing and dancing, and they're smiling, clapping, and laughing. And that was it. I thought, that's it. I found my happy space. So
theater.
from there on, it's everything wove in together, where I was involved with a string orchestra. I was involved in a boys choir. I started doing musicals in school and plays and theater. And when I got to Hollywood, when I basically August 2000, I'm sorry, August 19, oh my goodness,
Let me calculate your age now.
1978. Wow, August 1978. I was 17 years old, moved to Hollywood, and was basically putting myself out as a magician, an actor, and musician, music, singing. And one of the first big gigs that I got was in a musical, of singing
Oh,
and performing in a music, not magic. And it was destined. It was all set. It was called It's Just a Game, and it was supposed to go on to Las Vegas and Broadway. And I was one of the stars, but it fell through. I remember, again, real vividly, we were all getting ready for dress rehearsal. The cast was there, and the director
And
comes in and said, sorry, we lost our funding. It gave us each $100 bills and said goodbye and said
whoa,
apologies.
that's
But
it.
again, had that not happened, again, I wouldn't be here. I was just as willing at that point in time to follow that dream of theater. And I probably would have ended up on Broadway, singing in some of the musicals of the day. But instead, I was directed. Jules Lanier and others were real actively saying, no, you got to join the juniors. It was really kind of twisted my arm to join the junior members of the Magic Castle, which in turn, Peter Pitt and Bill Larson saw the audition. They decided to bring me in as the youngest magician to ever perform at the Magic Castle, which that set that benchmark. And then they decided to have me represent them at FISM in 1982, Switzerland. So
Mm.
no doubt, my guess is that if I weren't doing the magic, it would be something to do with music and theater.
Well, I'm trying to imagine you performing as in the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Some of the
Well,
lead actors.
I watched these shows many, many times. The Phantom is fantastic. Just brilliant. And Les Mis,
Yeah, Les
boy,
Miserables. Yeah.
playing the lead, any of the leads in Les Mis would be extraordinary. These are serious, epic parts. So yeah, now it's just a dream that I think, well, it could have been, but I have no regrets. Absolutely none. What I just
That's
absolutely love magic, and I love the path that I've ended up on one hand choosing, but the path chose me as well.
well, that's a very nice story that you just shared with us. And by the way, I'd like to acknowledge my friend, of course,
Tommy.
Tommy Lucian. Hi, Tommy. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining in.
Tom,
I hope you
Tom
guys are doing
Illusion.
good in SG.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy. Okay. Arturo, Mr. Tivoli posted this one with regards to Mr. George Prost. So, Académie de Magie, you can find a website to find out the book. Well,
Okay, so maybe he's quite possible reprinted it.
well, again, what's the title, just in case?
It was Magie du Nouveau Monde, or Magic for the New World. And it was
Okay.
relating
Magic
to
for the
this
New
new
World.
style. I mean, I released a lot of new things. The dry ice effects specifically were groundbreaking. The handheld fog and the dry ice, and the effects I did in FISM with the fog to dove and the dry ice fog changing to the gloves. I was one of the first ones to use stage fire and pyrotechnics. So it was, it was the 80s. So that was like a real, a very progressive time. So that's set up the idea of the name of the book, of the new world for this new age of magic.
Magic. Oh, thank you very much for that. Again, before I go on to the other questions, these are just minor ones. Let's go to the main one, the main topic for
Sure.
tonight's interview. You're gonna go launch something amazing this coming September. It's called Magic of Illusions. Can you tell me some more about that?
This is the big project. The Academy of Illusions is a virtual magic center. They'll call it the Nexus for the study and performance of the art of wonder. And it's perfect that Tommy is here, because Tommy came on as one of my students, one of my top main students, 8, 9, 10 months ago now. So this is 10 months. And from the very get-go, like everyone, I say, well, let's talk short-term dreams. Let's talk long-term. Where are we going? I start with say, well, here we are. What's our direction? Let's set our goals. And one of the very first things he said was his dream was to start a school of magic in Singapore,
Mhm.
an academy. And I'm like, well, I've had that idea as well. I mean, from the very first time I read The Wizard of Earthsea, the books that had the island of Roke and the story of the wizard school, and that's set long before Hogwarts. That many years back, and of course the Tolkien and all the other fantasy books. And so that was a dream that I've had as well. And through this collaboration, again, I fully credit Tommy with being the catalyst of this. and it's a perfect partnership for development because he brings in, as from his side, a real solid part, and then I'm bringing in, of course, my experience and such. And it was only a month ago that he and I were having one of our weekly sessions, and I just
Mm.
said, I have a feeling we got to do this. After we went, basically we went lockdown the second time, and it was no idea when we would come back out. I said, no, this is the time to pull the trigger on this. So immediately we jumped on it. I gathered together 9 other top professors and professor emeritus from top magicians from around the world to join
Mm-hmm.
us. The website is up. The curriculum is set. We're opening on September 1st with over 30 individual events set, both all private events, of course. Zoom storming, which is a brand new idea of weekly workshops, hands-on small group workshops, which will
Mm-hmm.
be running 2 of every Saturday in September. Anthony Darkstone has his Darkstone dossiers, and we just did the Golden Age of Mentoring series last week, and we're turning
Yes,
that
yes.
into a mini series for September and going more in depth and bringing on some of the ones who are the mentees who are being taught. So we're really elaborating on that. And then that's building up to a gala show on the 26th of September, which includes all of these top students or those who have been influenced by me and could say, look, here, I'm here in the same way I'm saying I'm here because of Johnny Thompson and Channing Pollock. They're able to say, well, here's why I'm here. And they're able to tell their story and be part of the show. So it's full on. There you go. The Facebook page is up. It's very active. Our professors are Tommy Chang, as you mentioned. He's the director and officially based in Singapore, but it's an international virtual school open to everyone. There's public events happening. There's private magic events happening. And let's see, we've got Anthony Darkstone. Again, he's one of our professor emeritus, as is Bob Fitch, another absolute legend in magic, Robert Fitch.
The
Scott
puppet guy.
Jefferson,
He's
the
the one
Celtic
doing the puppet, right?
conjurer. Yeah, another master of the toppet. We have not only one master of the toppet, but 2 toppet masters
Including you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's and I look up to him. That's what's always
Mm.
nice. Again, I mean, his resume is just impeccable. Oh my gosh! Anyone who can say I've danced on stage and sung with Liza Minnelli, I mean, you want to get? I mean, that's like, whoa! Be still, my heart. Uh, so we've got Roger Nico, very well-known magician dealer from Card Shark. He's our professor of cardology. We've got Eva May, who she's his wife now, but she stands on her own as a very talented magician, also member of the Inner Magic Circle, 4F alumni. We've
Mm.
got Arthur Tivoli, as you've mentioned, bringing him in, another one who has this incredible depth of experience and knowledge and willing to pass it on. Daryl Sprout, who's not as well known, but I've worked with him many times, and he's the master of reptiles. He works with snakes
Oh.
and lizards, and so he's the serpentine sorcerer. And he and I have been working on a number of original effects via Zoom that he's now releasing and performing. So there's some very cool stuff that he'll be showing. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? I'm sorry. Like you said, there's Tommy Chang. Is there, oh no! I have
Tommy,
to look at
type
my
in the
website.
other guys who G missed.
I know I said it so quickly, but the website is up. I'm still look. I did all the coding on this. It's a
Mm.
very high tech website. Oh, Gino, of course. Can't forget Gino. Gino DeVille, originally from the UK. I met him many years ago. We got along absolutely. It's just this perfect, brother from another mother. Now he's been living in China and working in China for a number of years, but very active. He's taken full illusion shows on tour around China for huge theaters and audiences. So I'm bringing him in as well as our professor of mischief, mayhem, and mirth, mischief, and mayhem.
Birth, mischief, and mayhem.
So that's our first 10 professors, all of whom are available for individual private mentoring and teaching and coaching. I'm doing sound tracking. Besides, the process is a very broad offering of services for someone who just wants coaching. For instance, Rod Chow, from Canada, I'm working with him now. He came to me just about 2-3 months ago, and he had
Mm-hmm.
just won the second place in the IBM convention competition, but his goal was FISM. So
Mm.
we dove on it, and what an extraordinary act he has. But there we took it and fine-tuned and fine-tuned, and he's one of the most professional people I've ever worked with. I mean, every session he's in full costume, he's loaded, ready to go, full backdrop, full lights. Yeah, so he's gone from, in my opinion, from being a FISM hopeful to an absolute FISM contender, and that's counting down to the FISM at the end of September. So
I
a
see.
lot of individual wheels are running. I've got Austin Moody, another one of my top students, who he came to me as a virtual unknown, a very talented amateur over a year ago. And we've been doing weekly sessions we've done over
Mm-hmm.
50 weekly sessions via Zoom. Training. As always, I start with basic foundation manipulation, skills, build the skill set upon which. And now he's turning pro. He's got a residency at a local theater. He's about to get a residency at a local casino. And
Oh,
he's going to star in next week's SAM International Gala as his big coming out with an original routine. So
wow.
it's like with all of my students, I set them on a path. I say, look, the same amount of energy to meet mediocrity you can have. It's like, no, we're making a commitment to excellence, or we're not going to make this at all. So a handful of just examples, but all of that momentum is what I'm taking into the Academy of Illusions. It just seemed like this perfect umbrella to bring all these things under a single virtual roof, a virtual space with library and hall of giants, where I honor so many of the greats that I worked with, Patrick Page and Pavel and
Mm.
Ali Bongo and Channing Pollock, and all these others that carried the
All
torch,
legends.
and the legends. And I always say, it's like quoting uh, Newton of, if I've seen farther, it's only because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. Simple as that. I have full honor and recognition that, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing had I not been taught in this incredible lineage and continuum of magic that I was brought into and accepted into.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, guys, if you want to check out Academy of Illusions, again, the Facebook page is right down there. So Facebook page.com/ Academy of Illusions, or Tommy just sent me the website. You can go visit the website at www.academyofillusions.com. Okay, so Tommy, I hope
Mhm.
I typed in the correct one. Okay.
That was it. Academy. That was it.
Ah,
Yes, it
sorry,
is.
Academy, yeah, of Illusions.com. Yes,
Yep,
correct?
that's it.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to know more, just check out the website, www.academyofillusions.com. Again,
Yeah,
you're
and
watching, yeah.
if you get the ezine, if you get the magic ezine with Alan Watson, you'll
Mm.
note that the top story of this week's edition of the Magic Ezine tells more and goes more in detail of the Academy Illusions, and that will be the first of a weekly column that I'll be writing, or one of the professors will be writing, or one of the students. So it will be a regular series, and our weekly virtual newspaper, is called Invisible Ink,
Oh,
appropriately enough.
invisible
So it's
ink.
all, again, all of these things are happening. It's all coming together, this incredible nexus of energy and focus on the launch of September 1st. So if you check out the Academy of Illusions Facebook page and like us there, you'll get all the info. And of course, we'll keep as much as possible. I'd like to keep streaming your programs on that page as well, because it's
Oh,
really about
thank you very much.
collaboration. We make an
Thank you.
alliance. We are allied with everyone. We're friends with everyone. It's this idea of a safe space that we can come, we can train, we can learn, we can discuss. If you want to go specifically learn specific stuff, but we'll have guest lecturers from the professors and others as well. So
Thank you very much, Jay. Again, guys, this is episode number 27 of Let's Talk Magic. Thank you very much for joining us. Please don't forget to share the stream. Again, we are broadcasting on our official Facebook page, Chubster Flores Productions, and of course, all past episodes, well, you can watch them at, of course, YouTube channel, Chubster Flores Productions. Now, Jay, when you were talking a while back, some of the guys were searching for the book, and I think someone found a link and comment from Mr. Bob Daru said, "Darned, I missed it. We'll order." Anyway, well, I think let me just put up the link, but I don't know if they can. I don't know. You do the search. I don't know if you can copy paste that one, but that's the link. Thank you very much, Darren, for sharing that one. Okay, the thing is, I have one question coming from Seth regarding the Academy of Illusions. Was it free? What is the fee to join?
Well, this is what's cool. At this point, it's not like a certain fee. There are a lot of events that will simply free, like this. We'll be doing webcasting and shows that are free and open to the public. And then the Zoom storming and the individual mentoring and the teaching and the programs as they develop are very reasonably priced. But at this point, September, we're sort of leaving it wide open. We're, creating it all as we go along. So the Darkstone Dossiers mentoring miniseries, boy, that's a mouthful. Mentoring miniseries is free. There's no charge for a lot of these. And as it develops, we may look at get a monthly price, which is a package, for like of all the for magicians, because we want to separate. There's a point where, there's things for magicians where we'll be teaching the secrets of magic. And then there's other things which are simply for anyone who loves the art can come and enjoy it. So yes, all those details will be posted on the Academy of Illusions page. And I also have the Art of Wonder Magic group. So that's a group that's private. That one's for magicians, totally private. So we're able to discuss secrets and methods and gimmicks and such. So if you look for the Art of Wonder Facebook group, if you're a magician, join that, because that's like the magician's side of the Academy of Illusions.
Okay. Robert asked, "Are you now based in Australia?"
Apparently so. Yes. I actually moved here from Scotland. I mean, I'm a world citizen. I decided early on that I'm a global, recognizing like Charlie Chaplin. He says, look, I'm a global citizen. I acknowledge everyone. We're all in this together. It's this beautiful blue dot, as Carl Sagan said. And so I went from living in Scotland for a number of years and deciding to come and live and raise my two kids in Australia. And so found a real nice place, nice little out of the way, beautiful country town. It's called the Heritage Town here in Australia. And I've set up a complete working studio, a state-of-the-art music studio, production space, in this 150-year-old building. So it's quite amazing, like New York loft, but hidden away in the wild of Australia.
Okay, I have two videos over here. Which one shall I show them first?
Yeah, let's do the Academy of Illusions one, because that sort of is the intro.
One is the mentoring, right?
So that's just an intro video. You asked for it, so I put it together for you.
So guys, this is the Academy. Check it out. Watch this, guys.
Note the music, because the music is part of the music I'm producing. The brand new song I produced in the last few weeks. So
we'll talk about also your music later on, guys. Listen and watch this. Here we go. So there you
Woo!
have it, the Academy of Magic. If you want to know more about that one, again, Facebook page, Academy of Magic, Academy of Illusions, that is. Sorry about that. And of course, you can go visit their website at www.academyofillusions.com. Once again, Facebook page, Academy of Illusions. It's just simple.
That's where we're keeping the that was a premiere. I saved that premiere. That was the world premiere of that video, all for you,
Wow.
Chubster.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
very
made
much.
that up. Look, you asked me what, like 3 or 4 days ago, do you have a video for it? I was like, oh, I can do that. So,
And
but
thank you very much for sharing it here.
yeah, you come on, man. That's what it's all about. We stay spontaneous. We say, to me, I'm in a constant state of creation. I'm really just this, through adversity. Let adversity fuel your determination is just completely my attitude. It's easy to wallow in frustration and get in the habit of complaining and bemoaning the situation, but that's not going to change it. So I'm taking the opposite approach. I was like, no, I'm going to create everything. And if is reach and maintain peak performance prestidigitation myself, but also pass that on. It's like, that's the
Mhm.
torch. It's like, there've been lots of difficult times throughout history, and humans have always persevered. And it's that strength of character and the strength of spirit. And that's really the core of the academy. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
get people to say, look, we're carrying the torch of thousands of years of brilliant creators and magicians. It's like there's a responsibility we have to them and to the art. So the first thing is, make that commitment to excellence and keep it.
By the way, aside from magic, you're also into music. Now, like we mentioned a while back, the music that we heard on that promo, it was your
Mhm.
creation. So let's talk about JSB, the musical artist. So magic is your first love, then maybe music is your second love, or it's the other way around.
I think one's the mistress, one is, I don't know. Yeah. Music is probably, I would argue that music is my first love, only
Mm-hmm.
because as a child you hear music. When I was in, as far back as, music becomes, just a soundtrack of life.
Yes.
And I just had a connection. That was just it always. And my mother played everything from Mozart, from classical, right across the way to pop. I remember the Beatles, the Ed Sullivan Show. I remember the first when the Beatles came on with "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and I was
Mm.
just jigging and dancing, little kid, going, "Yeah, I'm loving it." So the music has it's very interesting how it's in many ways sometimes completely departed. I've done entirely separate music projects and soundtrack videos and compose for ballet, and sort of kind of veer off, and then it always comes back to magic. So I started
Mhm.
writing and producing background music for my own shows in the mid 80s. This goes back, I realized that the music I was using uh, was copyrighted, and I couldn't necessarily use it. And when I went on television, they said, "No, we'll just put this other music behind you," and it was dreadful. I
It won't
remember
work.
watching I'm going, "What did they do? This really canned, cheesy music." To I was like, "No!" And that was like a television show that went out in the U.S. I was like, "Oh." So that was the really kicked me in the butt. I said, "No, I have to produce my own music." So I took that throughout 1990s. I produced 3 different CDs, kind of new agey, modern classical, but really as a magical feel, which I've still used some of that for my magic shows, and that's gone out, and I've let magicians use that fairly freely.
I think I
And
remember one album. It's called Symphony of Lights. Am I correct?
Symphony of Light was my debut album in
Oh.
1990, and that actually hit the New Age charts, much to my surprise as well. I released it, and it was recognized as one of the top, new artist releases of the year within the New Age music community, and it's still considered one of the classics.
Mm-hmm.
Of sort of new, with again very small. I'm not going to inflate the importance of it, but within this, small genres where, I always get emails and messages saying, "Oh, I love that. Do you have it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's up on my YouTube. Here you go." Yeah. But so I produced three primary CDs, and then shifted focus over to more acoustic and started really training on acoustic guitar and brought that up. And again, you talk about mentoring. I would credit Alan Parsons as one of my music mentors.
Mm.
Brilliant genius, living legend of music, who again I revered long before I met him. And then on one fateful night working at Hollywood Magic, this tall, fine, well-spoken English gentleman comes in, and as usual, I'm selling him stuff, and I'm selling it, and he's talking. Huge pile of stuff. I'm thinking, okay, big sale here. And I took his credit card, and it said A. Parsons. And I went,
Oh,
no way. I said, you're Alan Parsons. And he's like, he was surprised to be recognized. I say, oh my God, you're my hero. The iRobot and the Tales of Mystery and Imagination were two of my absolute favorite albums. He had just released Pyramid, which, these are just absolute milestone uh, albums of music. So later on, I connected with him in London. I helped create stage sets and for his touring show, and he took me into Abbey Road Studios and
mm.
sat there and explained to me how they recorded Dark Side of the Moon and how the Beatles and how we sat with the music mixing desk. I mean, places the equivalent of the Magic Castle, but for music. I mean, this is where some of the greatest musicians of all time have been and sat and recorded. So that was just part of On the Shoulders of Giants. And for me, that set a standard for my own music. I had to say, look, he's setting the bar for any new
Yes.
stuff I'm producing. I've got to use that as the benchmark.
Okay, let me show you a comment a while back because Robert asked if you are based in Australia. Maybe I'd like to just show you this comment of his. Scots and Aussie are some distinctive accent. Sounds like you have resisted them so far. I bet that you
Yeah.
can do them both. Is it different or what? Some kind.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have an odd mix. You can't really hear your own accent. I always
Mm,
say, people say, "Oh, I like your accent." You say, "Well, I didn't have it till I got off the plane." Then they think for a minute and laugh. But it's true. We don't, we just speak how we speak, and it's only when we go somewhere else that we hear that. We hear that accent. So my children have a very interesting mix. Michaela was born in Scotland just before we moved. So she was born in 2007, and now she's 14. And she has a really fascinating mix of Scottish, Australian, and American, which a real quaint mix. And Tristan, who's my son, he's just turned 11. He also, I think when you raise with parents who speak different accents, you pick up a bit of both.
yeah.
He's got this, real, not a broad Australian accent, but clearly he's got the lingo. Half of it's just the lingo, right, mate? Crikey, you know?
Crikey.
Crikey, mate. Ah, that's the biggest croc I ever saw. Ah! I have my Steve Irwin impression here.
Nice one. Nice one.
Ah!
By the way, just mentioned your kids. Anyone showing interest in magic or music as early as now?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm not. I'm well. I mean, I'll be honest. Both of them have been brought up with all of it. I mean, clearly they saw that Dad was performing. Michaela got very interested in it for a while and was my assistant, and actually had her own couple of routines within my show.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's really gone. She's discovered this amazing talent for art, hand
Oh,
drawn art, like anime
wow.
style. So I've really encouraged her to follow that passion. You say, look, whatever you find that that follow your dream, follow your bliss, as I support her. And Tristan he's Mr. Superbrain. He's already been pegged as one of the smartest kids in Australia. He's got the
Whoa.
genius gene. Oh yeah, they pulled him into this gifted kids college already.
Wow.
But he, like most kids his age, he loves the games. He's this master gamer on Roblox and all these different the different games. And so I'm already telling him, I'm trying to focus him every day. I'm saying, all right, great. It's great. You're spending all this time. So let's set a deadline, just like I do with my students. I say, set a deadline. We're setting it. We're going to build, you can't just, so we're working on our first game, the first computer game. I said, I want you to be a millionaire by 16 so I can retire. But I'm showing up saying, I'll produce all the music. We'll do all the music for your game. I'll help you create the concepts, but you've got to learn. So he's learning coding to basically to start coding with games. And then I reckon, I'm telling him we're planning our Mars SpaceX tour for 2035. So why not? I mean, come on, magic in space. How cool is that? The moon base tour. I've got it planned. 2030 moon base tour, JSB.
Oh, 2030, yeah.
Big Falcon rockets.
You're going to go follow suit to those two guys.
It takes just as much energy to dream small as it is to dream big. But the big dreams are what wake you up in the morning. That's what gets you going.
Correct.
Come on, it's all a miracle. We're all still here. While I'm living and breathing, I'm going to keep reaching for the stars.
Very well said. By the way, speaking of magic, can you show our viewers something magical?
Oh, I've got a couple of things here. Let's see.
Cool.
Now, I've been developing a number of new routines, and I'm teaching them in the lectures. And so this is one of them. Well, this is a ring. I can impress you in the wink of an eye with moves that will surely astound. I can amaze, amuse, inspire, delight, and lead you to the profound. Now, you may simply think to brush it all off as prestidigitation. Or perhaps you'd like to look a bit deeper into that pool of inspiration. For the magic runs wild in the sea of your mind, and to find it is always the goal.
Wow.
It whispers and sings in the depths of your heart, all the way down to your soul. It beckons the dreamer ever to fly, the dancer ever to dance. And I, the magician, the worker of wonders, can merely offer the chance.
Wow.
Thank you.
A virtual round of applause for the one and only JSB, Mr. J. Scott Berry. Thank you very much for that, Jay.
You're very welcome.
Performance. Oh, by the way, speaking of magic, you also have lots of magical creations. And of course, I really fell in love with one of your creations, which, well, I've been using it for the longest time. The first time I met you, I bought that item from you during the first gathering. And on the second gathering, I bought a couple of more of those, the vortex thing. So, can you tell us more about your creations? I mean, I just saw you posting something that you're making some of the other gimmicks already.
Yeah, since this is a public broadcast, I won't go into the
details,
secret side of it.
Yes, of course.
But yes, I've been actively creating effects, illusions, and again, foundation. For me, along the way, as an illusioneer, I often say, well, here's where I want to get to. I want to imagine an effect, and then I work backward and say, well, if I need to create a new method or a system or a gimmick or how it's done, I will. I sort of fearless in that. And so with a handful of the gimmicks I've developed over the years, the cloaking device and the FS2 and the others are instrumental. These are fundamental gimmicks to create dozens of effects. And first and foremost, I use them myself. I mean, I don't sell stuff just to sell. It's all things that, I mean, as you saw when we first met, these were in my performance, so I can show and teach them from experience. And I've just released a brand new one. Actually, I've held it secret for 20 years, so it isn't new for me, but it's new for the public.
For the
The
market.
effect I just showed, that's part of my new lecture. So that's available. I'm selling. So a lot of these will be available via, of course, me. I'm very active on Facebook, so you can always connect with me there as far as if you want to purchase. But I've also got the whole library of digital downloads, which are only available directly. They're not on Penguin. They're not anywhere else. And that's goes extensively into all my A-list effects, all the way
Mm-hmm.
from the lightning switch to the vortex streamer to the cut and restored ribbon to ring, and of course the classic stuff, the symphony on the ring and ribbon, extensive work with the toppet and other things. So all of those are available. I will give a plug that Gino DeVille, he is a clever guy. He and I have been talking. This is all where everything comes together, is this nexus of the Academy of Illusions. Gino has been building a very extensive magic website
Mm.
primarily for virtual product. I mean,
Wow.
we actually will be creating a whole series of JSB signature effects and down the line. So those are already in the works. But specifically, he is opening his Gino DeVille Magic right simultaneously. With September 1st, he becomes the Academy of Illusions official magic shop. So
Oh, wow.
it's basically dovetailing perfect. And I don't want to put the website up yet because it's not, we tested it yesterday. It looks brilliant. He wants to fine tune it, but we'll be announcing all of that on the Academy of Illusions page. And he will have all of my digital downloads. There are dozens and dozens of PDFs of old magic books that
Mm-hmm.
are going to be available as part of it. So that becomes part of the library of the Academy of Illusions. And so it all really comes together beautifully. And again, that's just 9-10 days away. So it's September 1st. Everything goes into the official launch party. I'm looking at doing a 24-hour broadcast, whether I
Wow.
get, well, it's not going to be in segments, because realistically, yeah, I'm going to let some of the guys on the other side of the world take over. But that's part of the fun of having magicians around the time zones, in the U.S. as well as in Europe, and then of course me, Tommy in Singapore, and then me in Australia. So, but we will have lots of special events and giveaways and prizes and raffles and all that kind of stuff as part of the grand opening. So, yeah, stay tuned with that. There's lots of
Okay.
excitement in store.
By the
But we'll
way,
let you know, of course, when it'll
yes.
be on. The information will be available as we count down.
Nice, nice. By the way, I just got a signal that my internet connection is going haywire again. But anyway, uh, right timing on the virtual thing, because Seth is asking, do you do virtual magic effects or just plain straight sleight of hand routines during your virtual shows?
Well, it depends on the show. That's a really good question, because I'm a firm believer that we use the medium we have to do the best we can. On
Mm-hmm.
one hand, my style of magic is primarily based upon prestidigitation. So there's a solid foundation of skill. There's secrets and methods and gimmicks and all my different systems that I've developed. But with the virtual shows that I'm doing, I'm offering, like with my live shows, I do kids to corporate. I've
Okay.
especially in Australia, I started doing, I grew up when I was a young teenager, I started doing birthday parties, of course, 11, 12 years old. That was the thing. And it wasn't until I started living in Scotland where I started doing kids shows again. Because in the UK, I think it's the law that you can't have a birthday party without a magician. It's just this crazy thing. No, it was really extraordinary. And it happened. It was just, I say, all right. Friends of mine would say, look, I got a double booking. Would you do it? I'm going, yeah, I need the money. Sure.
Of
It
course.
was like, what? But and I realized that the vast majority of the same effects I could do, my real high end, like my Magic Castle, Magic Circle, real high end stuff, I could play to kids and just play and have fun. It wasn't, they would appreciate that it was just different presentation, but the adults would sit there and go, oh my gosh, this isn't just your usual stock kids show. So that simply it's like, well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Any opportunity. And to me, I put the same level of focus and attention into a kid's birthday party as I would to a show in Las Vegas. It's like, well, yeah, of course. So the point being is that I've really developed this spectrum of kids to corporate, close up to stage. And so for the virtual shows, then it's like, okay, boom, all these, if I get a virtual show that's primarily for kids or family, I like family shows because you're playing to adults and children. But
Yes.
I've realized that I can get away. It's a TV show. I mean, I realize that, no, this is the J. Scott Berry television show, and the kids get that. So I'll add in puppets. I've got
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with puppets, the Muppets, were, all of that. That was all part of my upbringing. So I've got lots of different puppets I can pull out and do that. Jim Henson
Wow.
was one of my absolute heroes growing up. But the ability to instantly, I don't even think I have my sound. Oh, I won't go and start pushing buttons on my hotkeys, but I can instantly change into virtual backgrounds. I can walk next door and have a green screen. But what I realized, this is the coolest thing: a big green scarf becomes a cloak of invisibility. And I
Yes.
say, oh, I just got this delivery from Hogwarts. I wonder what it's going to be. And I, open it up, and you open it up and you disappear. And then I wrap it around myself and I tell them, oh, look, Harry Potter sent me the cloak of invisibility. Oh my gosh, the kids love that. They
Nice routine.
recognize that I'm using that. There's the perfect example. I'm, something I couldn't possibly do live. And I remember Jay Leno. Now, some of you probably remember this. He did this whole series of things with his flying head where he was just in a green screen suit.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get really creative with green screen rather than just putting a funny backdrop. You can actually have lots of fun. So I'm covering some of my tables in the green screen room with the big green scarves, and I'll get it up, whip it away.
Ta-da.
It becomes like virtual black art. It just appears when you pull the green cloth off of it. So I don't do that for the corporate. Corporate, I keep more sophisticated. But, to me, I'm a big kid. If you get a group of kids and want to have fun and laugh and play, I'll go for it.
Well, wait, yeah. According to Seth, wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Do you?
use that big 36-inch green scarves. Or just amazing. You put it over your head and your head disappears. Oh my God, the kids think oh geez. They're just like, oh, I can't see it.
By the way, a while back you mentioned you plan to do the 24-hour broadcast. Well, Spike said go for the Guinness Record Magic Broadcast Marathon. That's what
Yeah,
Spike
well,
mentioned.
I don't know what the broadcast. I'm not sure. Spike, you're in charge of checking out what the Guinness World Records is, and if we can go for it. We certainly have the talent to do it. Between the professors and of the academy, and even some of what I call the graduate students, like Tommy and some of the others that are actually already pro level performers. So yeah, cool.
Okay, I have another video over here. Let's go back to the Academy of Illusions. It's called Mentoring. And what's this all about?
Yeah, this is now this again. This is all these pieces to the puzzle, and Anthony Darkstone and I started discussing this. I was on his show. He's the Darkstone Dossiers. I've known him for over 20 years. He was actually part of the Magic Festivals. He was a star of the Magic Festivals I was producing with Mark Fiskin in Scotland in the we did 5-6 years of Magic Festivals, and Anthony became a part of that. So he and I became good friends and colleagues. And then once again, we've reconnected via this virtual medium. So, excuse me, he had the idea well, let's make a program based on the mentoring and try to describe the idea and elaborate on it. And that then brought us to, using that as part of the curriculum for the Academy of Illusions. So this was a video. This is, again, just a real nice visual video, which not only shows off, again, music. This is all another piece of the music, but a real visual concept of what a mentor is, a coach, a mentor, a teacher, a guide. And it is what it is. It's I put this together a few weeks ago for his program, the Darkstone Dossiers, and then simply changed pulled the bookends out of it and added on the Academy of Illusions, because everything's being brought under that umbrella now.
So guys, watch this again from the
Here we go.
Academy of Illusions. Check it out, guys. Here we go. So there you have it once again. Academy of Illusions, again from J. Scott Perry. First of all, again, Jay, thank you very much for agreeing to do this lecture. I know it's already 1:30 in the morning back in Australia.
Yes.
So
look, I want to just so I don't want to miss anyone. On the Darkstones dossiers, the one we did last week, we're also Kenton Knepper, and Serena Stone. So just give full recognition for everyone who's been a part of that was the Darkstone dossiers project that leads up to this as well. So just I thought about that. Don't want to leave anyone out.
So once again, guys, if you want to know more about the Academy of Illusions, once again, the website is right down there. Facebook page dot slash Academy Facebook.com/Academy of Illusions, or you can visit their website at no, not that one. Sorry, my bad. www.academyofillusions.com. So, Mr. JSB, any final thoughts, any final words, any advice to the upcoming magicians before we end the broadcast?
Yeah, boy, as I said, the best thing I ever learned is to never stop learning. It's like, it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder. What matters is you're always reaching for the next rung.
Mm-hmm.
The only competition you'll ever have is yourself. So don't waste any energy worrying about others. It's like one of the most important decisions I ever made was when I was 19 and I saw all the backstabbing, all the backbiting, and all the and all the stuff going on to the magicians. And I was like, what a massive waste of energy. And I just completely cleared my mind of it and I got focused. I just said, I'm not going to, and try to be friends with everyone, of course. But I didn't, that was my primary focus because, if we are to be artists, if we truly are to focus on our own excellence, all wasted energy is unnecessary. So, to me, that the art of magic stands as our beacon. And to me, to make that commitment to the art is, to me, the highest thing I can possibly do. And so that's what I encourage everyone as well, to my students and attendees now of the Academy.
So again, thank you very much for your time, JSB. And one final question. My connection is getting haywire. I don't know, Seth, maybe you're noticing it right now. Once everything goes back to normal and flights are also normal, which country would you want to visit first? The first country that you want to visit now? I mean, maybe vacation, something like that.
Hold on.
No
Check
problem.
there we go. Okay. Well, I actually have a lot of offers to go to China. China at the moment. And with Gino, we may do a tour, obviously close because it's Southeast Asia. And sorry, I ran out of water here. I was like trying to.
You want to go grab some water first?
No, I'm good. That was it. Just a tiny bit. Thank you. But of course, that'll be a Southeast Asian tour, and that will bring me to Manila. So we hopefully see you then.
Looking forward to that one, man. Okay. Again, guys, don't forget, check it out. September 1, it's the grand launch of course, Academy of Illusions. Do visit their Facebook page at Academy of Illusions. And again, website at www.academyofillusions.com. So once again, grand launch will be on 1st of September. And like what I said, is planning to do a 24-hour broadcast.
Wow. All right. Wonderful to see you, Chubster. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. All the best. I know some of my friends, some friends to be. All best wishes.
Well, thank you very much. Again, Jay, I'm going to go put you backstage. A big virtual round of applause for the one and only Mr. J. Scott Berry. A big clap for Jay. Again, Jay, thank you very much. And wait, let me put them to other coins. To Mr. Tivoli, thank you very much. And of course, to Frank, thank you very much. Jay, I'm going to go put you backstage. You can go grab your glass of water now. Thank you. Again, guys, sorry because the broadcast is getting haywire again. If you notice, I'm either freezing or lagging or whatsoever. So anyway, next week, join me because my guest will be none other than, well, he is, wait, where is that poster key? The godfather of close-up magic. We're going to go have Mr. Vinny Marini. Once again, this will be on August 28th, 10 p.m. Manila time. So please be there. And thank you very much for joining in. So once again, to everyone, Fluch, thank you very much. And of course, Enrico, thank you very much for your support. Seth, thank you very much. And to all of you guys who just tuned in, thank you very much for watching Let's Talk Magic. Again, my signal is getting blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm going to go out of here. Wait a minute, let me just cue this one, guys. Again, join me next week. Vinny Marini, 10 p.m. Let's Talk Magic, episode number 27. Chubster, I'm out of here. Thank you, Mr. J. Scott Berry. Bye-bye. Spike! Thank you very much for joining as well. And of course, bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. See, I told you. Delay. My connection. It should be playing by now. Wait, let me try it one more time. Here we go. Bye-bye. It's playing on your side.